Hey guys, Metrological here, and today I'm back with another Drift Trials. This is episode 4 of Drift Trials, where I will be doing the stock motor for a GE A86 Trueno, which is one of the favorite cars in this game. It just has not a lot of power, but it does. So I'm going to explain how that works because it kind of is something you could be taken in the wrong way. Now, you don't need a lot of power for these cars because they're obviously really small, really light, and a very nice, stable car to learn to drift in. But everybody usually swaps out the V8 because they think V8 Trueno, it's got to be the best idea ever. But I have one, and they're fun, but nothing beats the stock motor. The sound, it feels so much nicer, and it feels where it's meant to be. A V8 does not feel right in this car to me. So I opt out and I left the stock motor in this one because I love the stock motor, and of course I had to use Takumi. Got to be able to deliver my tofu on time. Figured the Takumi paint would make me faster. It helps just a little bit. So, recommend the Takumi paint and the same wheels that he runs in Initial D. That way I got a replica of it. Extra power, tofu power at least. Now, the car, obviously being as small as it is very, very very fun and nice in small sections. I mean, it's kind of a given in this thing. If anybody's ever driven one and tuned with one and played with one, then you would understand that this car does not disappoint you in these smaller sections. And there's a little plot twist. With 430 horsepower, I believe, it runs in the long sections almost like a 600 horsepower car. I have no idea how the hell this thing just does this, and completely makes me question how it happens. It's just, of course it's super light, so it will fly downhill and stuff, but it handles itself. Like right here, I can get a pretty good amount of speed with one little bit of power. Of course I should upshift a little bit more, but I'm an idiot, so pay no attention to my faults as I point them out. But this car definitely handles its power and its weight, and it definitely works in your favor. Regardless, this car is just always a masterpiece to me. And if you haven't built one yet, I don't know why you haven't. I don't know what you're waiting for. You might as well just buy one and do it now. And I know I did this section wrong the next two runs. I didn't want to go around the pole for the rest. I kind of felt like it'd be better if I didn't go around the pole. So the next two runs are going to look a little different. But they're the same runs basically, minus a small turn that I made. And you see I went up into fourth gear there, and I didn't have to really manji it through. I just kept going. It handles really nice under low RPMs too. You can drop this to a very low RPM and just keep it running. Like, it's a little bit of a nicer, easier starter car. It's like a 240 or an S13 or something like that to start with. This is definitely in the top 5 best starter cars you can get. So I highly suggest, if you're new to this, try it, or if you're a veteran, or I don't know, how do you call it, just somebody who knows how to play this game and drifts in this game all the time, then by all means. If you don't have one of these, I don't know why you don't, and I think you should do it right now, because this is one of my favorite cars just in general. Like, if this car is in the game, then I'm going to build it almost immediately. This was like my third drift car, because the Supra comes free with the starter, and I had to buy another car, and I just turned it into a drift car after. So this was definitely one of my favorites, and this is an all-time iconic car that everybody should know the Panda paint, and it's just so iconic that you have to build it the way it's meant to be. So definitely suggest that. Now this section is the downhill kind of long section, but it's also got like a small little short part. So this section was a bitch to film. I'm not even gonna lie, because the traffic was horrible. Every time I come right around that corner, there was always a group of cars just waiting for me. They wanted to see me, basically. They just sat there waiting, and I just run into a pile of them playing bowling with them. So, whatever. Nevertheless, I still got the clips, and I got decent ones. That's all that matters, right? So, this long section, as you can tell, I put my foot down, and it goes. It doesn't struggle, it just keeps on going, and that's what I love about this thing. It is just relentless with what it does. It is awesome. Now, I probably could have thrown it into a higher gear for most of this, and then just went even faster, because as you can tell, it's got the potential to go faster, but I kept it a little civil. I didn't want to go so overly fast that if I were to transition, I'd just lose all traction and kill myself. So I kind of slowed down for these little parts right here, because the curbs are also a deadly thing. If you've ever read this section, you'd understand how the curbs could just destroy your whole line without any fucking up. So, the Trueno, to me, is just iconic, and it's a really easy car to start with. Now, do I recommend that you build this car with the stock motor or the V8 or whatever swap? You could put like a K20 in it, I think, for whatever fucking reason you do that. So let's just stick to the 4A and the V8, the LT1. You can put a bone stock LT1 in this thing with, you know, upgraded suspension and everything, and you would have a perfect car. You can just opt out and leave the stock motor and upgrade the stock motor, which is about the same cost or so, I would say, overall for the LS. I would probably just do the stock motor at first, because of course with the LT1 it's very torquey, and it's, you know, that torque gives you that little bit of extra oomph that you need in a car, but you don't always need it depending on how light they are. Now, I like to go for balancing power to torque ratio, and I like to do a good amount of weight. That way it's not so light, but it's not so heavy that it's a boat. I kind of pick my cars and tune my cars to the point where they're balanced. I don't like to have way too much of something and not enough of something. So, this car is a perfect balance. I believe I've only gotten like 2, maybe 1 weight upgrade. That way it's not like at its full lightest, because you can use it at its full lightest, but it's too light for me, so you can't really flick it around real hard. Now, the silos, this little area right here, is got that longer section right here. As you can tell, I just floored it and went for it, and it just ran it. These little silos, or whatever they're called, you can get as close as you want to them. You can hold some angle in it. You could just floor it past these. I mean, this car does not fail. It's so relentless, and it's a really nice car. I kind of wanted to do something a little bit trickier with this car. I did want to go to a mountain pass and put it back where it's meant to be, but in Horizon 2 there's just no real good mountain runs, so I couldn't really get what I wanted out of it. I definitely wanted a mountain run, but Horizon 2's kind of limited us on mountains, so, you know, I had to make my own little bit of fun, which is fine. But this car its home is the mountains. It's meant to be in a mountain. It's meant to be going up and downhill. It fits in there. If you've ever played Forza 4 and you've ran through Jimmy Kaida with one of these, you'd understand what I mean. It just fits the scene, it fits the area so much nicer. So, coming up on the last clip here of me running it in the silos, and I was wet and dark and fun. So, I recommend this car to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. If you've ever drifted, if you want to learn how to drift, if you are really good at drifting, just please build this car or download the tune. That way you can test it for yourself. I hope it wouldn't disappoint you. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'm hoping that you guys would understand that I'm a little touchy on my voice and I'm still learning, so feedback is greatly appreciated and constructive criticism is always welcomed. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.